Our lecture on the pelvis, and the shape of the pelvis can be thought of in a couple of different ways, but one of them that's really very simple is to start as a teacup as a box. These are really simple ways of thinking of the pelvis. One that's a little bit more interesting as a wedge shape. Okay, so you have your rib cage, and then below it the shape of the pelvis. Now, a couple of augmentations that I think are really necessary are that passing through the pelvis is this piece like this, and that is a spindle. It's just an idea, actually. That's not how it works. What really happens is that there's a bone, there's a ball and socket joint there, and another at the end of a bone. This is called the trochanter here, and this allows your this big bone to connect in here, which is your femur. So as the teacup shape has the same thing going through it. But what that enables us to do, what we really need to be able to do, is we need to establish perspective when we start to draw a figure. So if you were starting to draw the figure with any number of sketching mechanisms, like the bean or the pear or anything like that, and then you started to look inside of here for where the pelvis turns up and how it would be that you could establish perspective with it, we could say, here, so here's how the pelvis starts to interact with this shape. And if that's your center line, that's your center line of the pelvis. And then coming through here, this is where your legs connect. Another thing that really feels worth mentioning is the way the spine, well, a couple of other things. So the first thing is, I have to do this real quick. The first thing is coming down off the rib cage. At the base of the spine is this triangular shape, and it curls around like that. And that's your sacrum. And that is also the back portion of the pelvis. So if you have a teacup, you're going to build a pelvis off of a teacup. And let's say we're looking at this pelvis from the back. The bones separate here and here. They wrap around, they stop there, and sitting in this place right here is this triangular bone, and at the top of it is like that. The ribs come from here. And on a figure, when you see the figure, you really see this. Like if you see a figure from the back, this right here is that, this right here is that, and you see it all the time, and it really helps you give the figure perspective. You see these right here? Those are what you get from understanding the pelvis like this. That these bones right here form the widening. That happens on the hips. And even if you're looking at the figure from the front, so if you're saying, okay, here's the figure from the front, and if we put our bullet shape into this figure, here's the center line, there's the underwear shape, the bullet shape would go to here, there's the underwear shape, and as this then turns inward, as the figure then turns inward, this right here, that wide spot, is this. Okay, so let's quickly take a look at our reference and see how this works out. So it's this structure right here, and it's inside. It wraps around like this, and the bone that lives in here would come out to there and come over this way. And in this instance, it's going to come out to here and go this way. Here's a center line. Okay? There's the pelvis. This bullet shape for the abdomen, right through there. The rib cage. pelvis is right in there. And here you see the triangle. You can't really see it, but it's right there. That's the bottom of the sacrum, and you see how the rib cage, the ribs wrap in that way, and then here's the top of the pelvis right there, which would be then coming around, shooting inward, and here's a wide point. Okay, I think that's it for pelvis.